Hi, I'm Marshall. I'm the owner of Going Gear and I'm here in our store in Smyrna, Georgia. This is the extended review of the Surefire UDR Dominator. So I'm going to go ahead and address some of the things that I know you guys are going to ask because you ask them in every Surefire video about the price, about is it worth it, and let's talk about that. So the retail price on this thing is $1,370. That's not a small amount of money. It's a lot of money for a flashlight. Is it worth that? Well, that's totally up to you. Let's talk about what you get for the additional price, what you get when you go with the Surefire. Surefire does make some of the highest quality, most durable, most reliable flashlights on the market. I don't think many people are going to argue with that, especially when you're at a level like a dealer or a distributor or anybody like that sees the amount of flashlights coming back, that sees the amount of complaints that we get, that sees the questions, that sees the warranty stuff, all that kind of stuff. We really don't get Surefires back. They're reliable, they're dependable, they're very high quality, they're very durable. They're tested to the extreme. I mean, they beat the crap out of these lights, they see what they can handle, and they can handle a lot. They're also made in America, which is going to make them more expensive, and they have a lifetime warranty, which is going to make them even more expensive. So is all that worth it? That's totally up to you. It is a very nice light, it is very high quality, and they are a very reliable company. So let's take a look at the actual flashlight itself. Alright, so here we are with the Surefire UDR Dominator. Pretty big light, pretty cool capabilities, a lot of stuff going on in this light. 2,400 lumens on max output, all the way down to 14 lumens on low. Unlike normal, I don't have this one in the packaging, and the reason is that Surefire actually let me borrow this light and all the accessories and everything to show you guys its capabilities. So big thanks to them for doing that. You know, most manufacturers, I just have to pull a flashlight out of our stock, and it was really nice of Surefire to let me borrow this just to show you guys what it can do. But I do actually have one sitting here in its sealed packaging just so you can see what the packaging looks like. We'll slide it around since I can't really fit it all in frame. But you get a lot of stuff in there. So obviously you get the flashlight, and this is a rechargeable flashlight, so you get a lithium ion battery pack, and then you can also use CR123s. So this thing can run off of 12 CR123s. So you got 4 in each slot. You can run it in there if you want to use CR123s, or if you're a department that gets issued them a lot, or a lot of guys that are deployed or something like that where they don't necessarily have the ability to recharge lithium ion quickly and easily. You have the battery carrier, so you can swap out the battery, the lithium ion battery, for 12 CR123s if you want to. And the battery carrier, I want to touch on it real quick. I normally don't really talk about battery carriers because they're just a battery carrier. It's usually just a flimsy piece of plastic or something that's kind of thrown in there to hold the batteries in place. But this speaks to Surefire's quality. This thing is nice. It's the first time I think I've ever said that about a battery carrier. You pick it up and you can feel some decent weight to it. It's quality. It doesn't really flex. You got some nice sturdiness to it. You can feel that it's going to last a long time. You've got quality contact points. This is just a well-made piece of something that goes inside your flashlight. So, the battery carrier alone shows the kind of care and quality that Surefire puts into its products. So it's really nice to see them doing stuff like that. The Surefire has a great name. They have a great reputation for quality and durability. And this battery carrier, something that goes inside the flashlight that you don't really even see and use all that often, is a testament to that. All right, the other stuff that you get with it, so you have a shoulder strap. So the light with the lithium ion battery weighs 2.4 pounds. It's not super heavy by any means. It's not bad to carry around at all. You're talking about 2.4 pounds. It's really not that much weight. But sometimes it's nice to have use of both your hands, or sometimes you're not necessarily using the light, but you want to have it ready. You've got the shoulder strap. And the attachment points are, you got this piece right here on the back, and then you can kind of see there's a hole on the heat sinking on the head of the light right there that you can attach the shoulder strap to if you want to use that. This does have built-in charging, so you've got a charging port right there. So it comes with the wall wart, so you have the adapter there, and then you've got the plug that just plugs in to charge the light. So that's obviously going to be for the lithium ion battery, not for CR123s. And then you have the user manual with a bunch of good information on there. 2,400 lumens of max output, 14 lumens on low, 52 minutes using the lithium ion battery pack on high, 2.5 hours using CR123 batteries. And then on low, you're going to get 30 hours with the lithium ion and 54 hours on the CR123 battery. And again, 2.4 pounds, really not that bad. you're at 11.6 inches. So I mean, it's again not something you're gonna throw in your pants pocket and get away with. Maybe you have some giant cargo pants or Jinkos if you grew up in the 90s like I did. You'll know what I'm talking about with those. But you know, it's really not that bad to carry around. And with its capabilities, you know, the size and weight is not something you're really going to mind. So let's take a little bit closer look at the flashlight itself and show you some stuff up close. So this thing actually has 3 switches. So there's 3 switches there, and I'll explain to you a little bit later what those do. Select your ring. It's going to select your different modes. Lots of surface area, lots of heat sinking here, so it's going to give you some really good heat dissipation. It's going to be able to spread that heat out, because I mean, this thing's putting out a lot of lumens, putting out a lot of heat, and this is going to help spread that out really, really well. You can see the body of the flashlight there. There's your charging port, a little bit more up close. There's the tail cap. We got the rubber on there. There's that lanyard attachment point. Then you got the rubber on the bezel that, again, you can remove both of those. I think they actually come from the factory, both of them detached. So it's nice option to have. It helps keep it from rolling around. You can kind of see, helps keep it stable on a flat surface, and you can remove them on both ends. It's just a nice thing to have where it helps protect the ends of the flashlight. You can see you don't have as hard of impacts. You know, you're not going to be scratching up your bezel or anything like that with the rubber attachment pieces that they have on there. Let's actually zoom out a little bit and see if I can show you the LED down in there. So they don't actually specify, but that looks to me like a luminous SBT70 LED. Maybe somebody can confirm, but I think that's what it is. See if I can get it to actually focus down there in the center. There we go. There you can see the LED down in there. Big old reflector, big old tough lens on there to help keep everything protected and focused and everything. All right, so let's talk about the interface on this guy. So you have 3 switches here. So they're labeled on there. You have CONST for constant, you have moment for momentary, and you have max blast. So the constant on, kind of self-explanatory, but you hit it and you're going to have the constant on. And the constant on is going to depend on where you have the ring. So you can turn this ring around. All the way to the left is going to be off. And then if you go to the min, you can see the light's not actually on if you go to off and then to min. So you need to hit the switch and get it to turn on. And one thing I'm going to note, you're going to see there's a hole in the center of the beam. That goes away really quickly when you get at a distance. So I've got it a couple feet away, and you can say that hole goes away. But I always get that comment in the videos, so I wanted to point that out. That's only going to be extreme up close kind of stuff, and you're not going to be using this light for up close kind of stuff. Pretty much any LED light with a reflector, you get it close enough to a surface, you're going to have that hole in the middle. So just keep that in mind. And then you can see you can adjust the ring, and it's going to adjust your output. So as you turn the ring, got a bunch of different presets, and then strobe. So max and then strobe. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different outputs that you can choose, and then also that strobe. And turn it off, turn it back on, and depending on where the ring is going to be the output that you have it in. So you can do that while it's on or off. You can adjust the output and know exactly where it's going to be. All right, the next switch we have on here is going to be the momentary one. So you have all the same outputs. You have the strobe and everything that you had on the constant on, except this one's just going to be momentary. So as long as you press and hold that switch, that's when you're going to have the output. So you can adjust the ring, get the different outputs. You can actually do it while you have it pressed down. You can adjust the output, and you can see it's going to adjust with you. And then the last one that you have is the max blast. So this one ignores the ring. It doesn't matter the position that the ring is in. You hit that max blast, and it's going to go into the max output of the 2,400 lumens. I can feel a pretty decent amount of heat coming off this guy at the max output. So max blast is just going to give you the full blast, instant access to the max output, and then you just press it again to turn it off. It's a pretty versatile light. So you've got the constant on, you've got the momentary, you've got the max blast. You know, you're not having to fiddle with a bunch of different programming or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. They're all labeled. You know, you've got the nice gradient on there to show you the different output levels and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty easy to figure out what's going on with this light. You know, in the heat of the moment, you can hit a switch and get some sort of light. But, you know, you can figure out that you hit that one all the way to the right, you're always going to get that max output. And you can adjust the ring pretty quickly to get the ones that you want. So you can see, no matter what position you're in, max blast is going to ignore where the ring is. So that's kind of nice. No matter what, you can get into the max output right away, and then you can also get into all the different other outputs pretty quickly and easily just by adjusting the ring and then hitting the appropriate switch. So there you go. Again, real quick on the interface, you have 3 switches here. So the one on the left, when you're holding the light like this, is going to be the constant on. So you hit it, and you have the constant on. Adjust the ring to get to your different outputs. All the way to the right is going to be strobe. Center is going to be momentary. So same thing, except momentary version of that. And then all the way to the right is going to be the max blast or the max output, no matter what. All right, so that's the interface and everything of the Surefire UDR Dominator. Let's take this guy outside and we'll show you what it can do outside. All right, so we're outside with the UDR. Got the big 40 mag light that I always use as a control. Let's go ahead and try that mag light out since everybody knows what it can do. There's a tree about 30 feet away. Dock house down there on the lake about 100 feet away. There's the mag light. All right, let's go ahead and try out that Surefire. See what this monster can do. All right, we're going to start out with the low output. So there is the min. The min, 30 feet. You can see it actually makes it out there to 100 feet pretty well. Pretty impressive for the lowest output. And then it's just going to get better as we crank it up. You can see things just start getting lit up better and better. You get the better hotspot, you get the better throw, and you get the better spill as well. So you can see super wide spill on this, just lighting up a really wide area once, lighting up pretty much everything in front of you. And we'll shine it up, and you can see the spill alone on max output makes it out to the dock house by itself, no problem. Pretty impressive. And then we're going to zoom in just so you can see how well everything is lit up. And this thing is capable of much, much more than this. So, I mean, it can do hundreds of meters. That's only 100 feet away. We have about 130 yards we can work with here in just a little bit. And we're going to try that out. But you can see the kind of distances you're going to get with that combination of the LED and the power and the reflector and everything. So pretty impressive output on this thing. Nice throw, nice beam, nice spill. You know, good transition from that really bright hot spot. You can see a really smooth, even spill that just lights up a really wide area and lights it all up at once. I've shown this in the past, but you know, a lot of the just focusing flashlights, like the ones that'll go from the spot to the flood, you know, with the adjustable focus or anything like that, you have either or. So you can see what a combination of both gets you. You know, if you had something that was over here, and I've shown this with my dog, he illustrates it pretty well. If I'm lighting up something there and he's over here, you don't see him at all with the adjustable focus. So that's why most of the companies out there are using reflectors like this, because you get the combination of the distance and the spill, so you can light up everything around you as well as what you're pointing the light at. So it's a really good combination. All right, let's go ahead and try out a longer distance to see what this thing can do. All right, we got some more space to try out this UDR, show you what it can do with about 130 yards. So let's go ahead and give it a try. There's your max output, because that's what people really care about, is to show you what this thing can do on full power. And let's zoom in just to see what it can do out there. So the first target right there on the right is at about 50 yards. Second one's at 100 yards. Tree line out there is about 130 yards. Obviously, it can do much, much further than this. You can see how well those things are lit up. Imagine what this can do with 300, 400, 500 yards. And the boat right there is about 20 feet away, just for a frame of reference. But you can see everything out there lit up super, super well. Great distances on this thing. Really bright hot spot, really bright spill. So the spill, you can see really bright in front of you, so it's going to give you a good idea what's going on in front of you, as well as what's going on out there in the distance. So really nice combination of the distance and the area lighting. They did a really good job on fine-tuning the reflector and everything. Let me show you what the other outputs can do, just so you can get an idea of what those are like. We'll start all the way on low. So there it is on low. That is the absolute lowest output. I don't know how it shows up on camera. Can make it out to 20 feet, obviously really well. But I can see that target at 50 yards pretty well. And we'll start just cranking it up one by one slowly. You can see you're just getting better and better. Your short range is getting better. Your long range is getting better. Brighter and brighter. And there's your strobe. So lots of versatility in this light. You got those nice clicks on the ring, so it's pretty easy to tell what mode you're going to be in. You can get right to that max output from off. You got the lockout, which I just put it in. Let's get it out of that so I can show you what this thing actually does. but you've got the strobe, you got the different outputs, lots of things you can do with this light. It's pretty cool. Alright, I threw another lens on the camera. Let me actually show you what this thing can do even more up close and personal. So this is where the other lens left off. Let's zoom in. You can see even more up close. If you're looking through a scope or a lens like this also gives you a better idea of how well things are lit up out there. So 50 yards, 100 yards, you can see the trees beyond the second target. Let me actually zoom out just a little bit. You can see the trees out there at 130 yards. Obviously this thing can do much further than this, but you can get an idea of how well things are going to be lit up at your 100 yards and 130 yards. Whole lot of light coming out of this thing. Things are lit up very well out there. You can see the darker colors on the target out there. Even that's lit up, which is kind of a tall feat for a lot of flashlights. So let's zoom back out. I'm going to throw the other lens back on there. Alright, so there you go. That is the Surefire UDR Dominator. If you like it, you can buy it from us at goinggear.com. And for questions or comments, you can reach me in the comments or any of my guys at goinggear.com. As always, get going and start something. If you like the video, please subscribe. We do a lot of gear and flashlight videos. Thanks for watching.